We are in the golden age because any talent that you have, you can show it to the audience directly.
Yeah.
Back in
Exactly.
the day, you needed to go through channels, but now you have a direct link to your audience. But at the
Mhm.
same time, now because everyone has that link to the audience, there's competition. A
Yeah.
lot of people consider social media as like, oh, मुझे यही करना पड़ेगा जो algorithm
Yeah.
दिखा रहा है. I'll have to
Yeah.
follow trends and all that. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You like, in fact, if you do something that you are not, then definitely you're not going to grow in that field. Everyone from the industry knows that
Yeah.
if there's a marketing push, it will be pushed out like you're
Yeah.
forcing songs into the audience and
Yeah.
it's getting
Yeah.
famous. But at the same time, that's just one of the and gates.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's not an or situation. Like
Yeah.
marketing हुआ अच्छा या
Mm.
फिर music अच्छा है तो song चलेगा.
Mm.
You have to have good marketing, but at
Mm.
the same time your song should be good enough. As soon as he said मुझे drugs दो मुझे रंग दे,
मुझे रंग दे,
kind of,
हाँ.
it's kind of going well together. Like
Yeah.
that immediately popped up in my head. I don't hate those people who unfollow me. I in
Yeah.
fact appreciate them doing this
Yeah.
because later then they will come back when I'm continuously creating good
Yeah.
content. So it's not like I have anything against them. Ki, oh no, you should be following me. Like
That's
that's
true.
the very wrong thing to do. It's fine.
Hi everyone and welcome to the flip side. Today we have a lovely conversation with Mayur Jumani. Mayur is a music producer, he's a composer, and he's a content creator who recently crossed the milestone of 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He is the mind behind various viral hits, but he's also composed for Bollywood trailers of movies such as Dabang 3, Baghi 3, Fukre Returns, Pari, and also for various OTT series like Breathe, Bandish Bandits, and Gunjan Saxena. His ability to mix putting together a good tune along with his sense of humor gives his content a really fun, really lively vibe, and that's something we really enjoy. In today's conversation, we spoke about his journey from humble beginnings to a million. We spoke about his insights into going viral. We spoke about some of the pressures he has to deal with being a content creator. And then we also looked at some of the stories behind some of his most popular hits. If you're someone who wants to know the secrets to going viral and who wants to succeed as a creator, or if you're a fan of Mayur who wants to hear some exclusive stories and see a side of him you've never seen before, then you don't want to miss out on this conversation. Without further ado, let's begin the podcast.
Hey everyone, today indeed is a very special episode for me. Not only do we have a very talented musician with us, we also have my brother on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us, Mayur. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Karan. Thank you guys for having me on this show.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Mayur. And to kick things off, हम लोग normally जो करते हैं अपने guest के साथ is we go down a trip down memory lane and we like to
Okay.
follow their journey from the start. So what we're going to do
Okay.
with this first section is आपको we'll show you थोड़े images, थोड़े video snippets which we think in a sense represent your journey both as a creator and as a person. And then we'll use this as a jump off point to then have conversations about different phases of your life. Does that sound okay?
It sounds okay, but it's a little scary because Karan has seen so much stuff from my childhood that I wouldn't want to show. But
Yeah.
let's see.
नहीं हम लोग बहुत बहुत शरीफ है हम लोग ने बहुत फ्लैटरिंग अच्छी चीजें ही सिलेक्ट की है
Cool.
I
ओके
think if I let those videos out, I'll be as embarrassed as Mayur.
Yeah,
So I think Mayur
exactly.
safe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
ओके so without further ado let me share with you our first image. So
Yeah.
like you must have guessed we are going really early to
Really
your
early.
beginning of your journey with music.
Hmm.
From what I've researched, you I think began playing piano at around the age of 5 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, around 5.
Around 5.
Hmm.
तो what I was curious about is कि ये love of music आपका ये उम्र पे आया कैसे and then how did you first start pursuing this love?
Pursue तो बहुत late हुआ,
Hmm.
but love of music, as far as I can remember, it was because of my dad. He was the first, like he used to sing as an enthusiast. He used to
Hmm.
sing and he used to play the keyboard as well. He used to
Yeah.
play the harmonium, in fact, before we even got the keyboard.
Hmm.
And like I'm saying 5 years, but I think the first time I touched a keyboard or the harmonium was way before that.
Yeah.
Because my dad made me do it. But 5 years is when I actually started, playing some song or the other.
Yeah.
And that was again because of him, where he started uh, teaching some songs here and there.
Yeah.
And that's where the love started. But uh, like I said, it remained a hobby for a long time for me.
Mm.
Before I could consider it my career, it took a long time. Uh, it so it was also the fact that I'm born and brought up in a science-based uh,
And
atmosphere,
Mm.
and all my family, my whole family is into science. So my
Yeah.
dad is a doctor, mom also did science, and my sister is an engineer.
Mm.
So coming from that background, I always thought कि ठीक है, science is a good career to pick up, science and engineering. And so just like a lot of other people in my age, people of my age, the millennial age, I also took up engineering.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, and just like everyone else, between engineering, I used to think कि अभी क्या करूँ लाइफ में,
Mm.
इंजीनियरिंग तो कर रहा है, अभी इसके आगे क्या करूँ, क्योंकि सब तो इंजीनियर बन चुके हैं.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it went ahead. Uh, but yeah, music was with me since childhood.
Yeah.
So it was a part of me. Maybe I didn't recognize that early on, but it was always a part of me.
Yeah.
Like I could always listen to songs and I could play them, whether it's the keyboard or a guitar. I didn't need tutorials as such.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one thing that again I recognized this later, but it was always a part.
मैं वही सोच रहा था कि कहते हैं sometimes like people choose their passion, but like it's seeming like Mayur's passion shows him. Like बचपन में ही वो there was some अंदर ही अंदर का connection, because आप
Right.
कहाँ इतनी जल्दी इतनी early उम्र पे naturally harmonium पे हो, naturally इधर हो उधर हो. That's really beautiful. There's also another really interesting aspect you touched upon, because आपकी journey में एक interesting trajectory थी. You are an engineer, like you said, by education. You were a UX UI designer by profession, and
Yeah.
आपका even you had a corporate job as well. After which you decided to, I think around after 2 years or so, you decided to quit it and you decided to head to Berkeley,
Right.
Spain, and you decided, of course, to pursue your masters there. So I guess my question is कि एक तो वो prompt कैसे आपको आया कि quit करूँ अभी मैं corporate job को, and I transitioned to music more seriously. And also after you did that, how did like people in your immediate environment react?
That's a great question. In fact, the third part that you spoke about, how did others react? More than that, how did I get into this? How did I react to music? Because first thing is to make up your own mind.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we've been born and brought up in this society where you have to focus on your career, which has some stability. So you need a stable job, you need this, that. And even while doing my engineering and everything, I knew that I had this knack for music, but I knew it's not just a hobby. I can pursue it as a career, but वो step नहीं ले पा रहा था, because that's how we've been brought up.
Yeah.
And I think the change happened during those 2 years while I was working. And I think towards the end of 1 year, 1.5 year, I realized that this is not something I want to continue doing. It's not satisfying enough. This is not something I would want to do 10 years later in my life.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of had this mindset where I should try out something different. And again, because we've been brought up in this way, I'm not that kind of a person who will just quit the job, take a leap of faith, and go into music full time. So I did apply for Berkeley, which was also a last minute decision. I think it was Jan when I decided, you know what, I'll just apply for Berkeley. Let's see how it goes. And Feb was the deadline for application.
Oh,
So I started just like an engineer.
तत्काल admission था ये.
Yeah, because we've been trained, na? Engineering में we've been trained to do our assignments last minute.
एकदम last
Study,
minute,
yeah, बस exam क्या 2 घंटे पहले study चालू करेंगे, book खोलेंगे पहली बार. So that's how we've been trained. So I did this, and the main reason was that especially Berkeley, the master's program, it's like one of the most prestigious music college.
Absolutely.
And plus the master's program in Berkeley.
Yeah.
And usme first thing in requirements, they had mentioned that you need a bachelor's in music to apply for this.
Okay.
And initially, of course, I saw this course long back. but I never felt like I can get in or anything. So in Jan, actually, I sent an email. I sent an email to them. Should I try applying? I don't have a
Yeah.
bachelor's in music, but
Yeah.
I think I have the skill set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reply came, yeah, just apply and see. You never know. You can
Okay.
get in. And they were pretty quick to reply. And then I started my application, and I
Yeah.
somehow, I don't know how, I did all the interview rounds and I got into Berkeley. I think I was one of three people in the whole batch to not have a bachelor degree in music and straight away go into the
Mm.
masters. So that was kind of a lucky thing for me. And as soon as I got in admission, I knew that the job is gone. 100% I'm moving into music now. There's no
Yeah.
stopping.
Yeah.
And the only hurdle now was to convince family and
Yeah.
do that. But it wasn't difficult at that point of time, because it's not like I was quitting engineering and quitting things midway and doing it. I
Yeah.
told them, look, like, worst case scenario, I won't be a successful musician, and I can go back to whatever I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Hmm.
like, it's just something I need to try now. If I don't try, I'll regret all my life. So it
Yeah.
wasn't a very hard decision for them as well. And plus, I was doing a job for 2 years. I was earning my own money. So
Yeah.
they also had that confidence in me that, okay, he's like, he thinks straight, he knows what he's going into.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was not that difficult. It was difficult, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's actually, we've all seen movies where the actor suddenly quits everything and follows his
Yeah.
passion. I think it only looks good in movies, but you've given very realistic advice where it's
Exactly.
always
Right.
good to have a backup plan, and
Right,
that's
right.
something that should go out to your audience as well.
I'll tell you something. This is my sister actually told me that, okay, you're going to Berkeley, you're quitting your job, you're doing music. I need 10 backup plans, not one.
Bufferin.
I need 10 different things that you can do with
Yeah,
music. And if in case these things don't work out, what will you
yeah,
do apart from music?
Yeah.
yeah,
And I actually gave her a whole list of 10
yeah,
things and I also researched on it. It's not just things like, I'll start my own studio, do this, I'll do that.
yeah,
I researched how much people make with that, how much, like, what is the success ratio of that, like,
Yeah.
how many people out of 10 might be able to make a living out of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I actually did all this, and I'm glad that I had all these things planned
yeah,
before Berkeley,
yeah,
because after coming out of Berkeley,
yeah,
everything helped. So first, of
Hmm.
course, you can't just come out of Berkeley, I'll show my master's degree and everyone will give me a job.
yeah,
Especially in India, तो ये होने वाला नहीं है.
yeah,
So first 2-3 years was a struggle for me.
yeah,
It wasn't like that struggle कि T series के बाहर जाके मैं CD के साथ बैठा हूँ, ले लो. But it was still a kind
yeah,
of a struggle
kind of, yeah,
where I had to go meet people, I had to ask them for work,
yeah,
and I had to do odd jobs here and there.
hmm,
And having that backup list really helped me, because those odd jobs that I just spoke about,
Yeah.
that was a part of the backup list. So
yeah,
3 years,
Ah.
while I was struggling, I was
hmm,
still earning, I was still doing good
yeah,
because of those backup jobs.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Your current perception is that, you blew up in the lockdown and that's what the public knows of you. But, like you mentioned, you did struggle for a few years. Can you tell us about how you landed the kind of background music projects that you got? These were all for big Bollywood movies. I believe you scored for films like Pari, and you also made music as a music director, music producer for a Bollywood film called Bypass Road. How did you land such big Bollywood projects?
I mean, everything has its own story. Uh, like, but mainly it started by getting one job and
Yeah,
doing really well in that one job, so that the person who's hired me
yeah,
spreads out my name, tells other people that, look, he's doing great.
that's true.
So there was this the first, in fact, the second or third job that I got after coming back to India was to
Yeah,
create an anthem for the NSG, which is the National
Yeah.
Security
Yeah.
Guard.
yeah,
So, and that was one of the good things. Like, of course, I was doing odd jobs here and there, but that was a full song that I had to create for the first
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Someone had hired me to do that,
right.
and uh, I did that with all my heart. I didn't even charge so much. I was
Yeah,
very okay with whatever they were giving me, and like, because I knew that was something that I would want to do and that would go well with my portfolio.
yeah,
And little did I know, that same person, that same video producer who
Yeah.
was doing that job for the NSG,
Yeah.
is also connected with some media agency which does all these trailers. And about 5-6 months later, like for 5-6 months, we weren't in touch, and then he just called me up and he's like, "Yo, I have this other job for you. It's for movies and all." So it
Yeah.
started with web series first, smaller web series, and
Yeah.
then it went to movies and all. So I think it's like, of course, you need to network, you need to know people here and there to get
Yeah.
these jobs, but it's more about the kind of work you're providing
Yeah.
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
So if you make one person happy with your work, then the name will go out and other people
Yeah.
will approach you.
Absolutely. I think word of mouth.
Yeah. In fact, NSD anthem you mentioned, I think one thing that was really marvelous about that, if I'm not mistaken, Shankar Mahadevan ne compose kiya tha and Gulzar ji ne lyrics लिखे थे.
Right. So it was previously, it was so Gulzar ji ne lyrics likha tha. Shankar ji had composed the song, which was the
Yeah.
previous song, and they came back कि इसका एक नया version बनाना है. We need to completely redo this, of course, using the same lyrics. So like I said, that was what was really big for me at that point of time. कि Gulzar ji के lyrics लेके I'm composing something, I'm recomposing something that Shankar Mahadevan has done, which was a big deal for me at that point of time.
And to make a song for the NSG is anyway so prestigious.
It is. Yeah.
Now, I think we've reached a really interesting part of your journey, more recent part of your journey. And before I ask you the question, I'd like to show you a piece of content which I think captures that.
Suddenness. The sheer suddenness of the move, the unexpected nature of the move, the unpredictability of the move, the fact that there was no warning, ting, 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 ting. We the people of
India, So, of course,
Yeah.
this we want to talk more about this. Of course, Suddenness was, I think, one of your first viral hits, so one of your many early viral hits. And why Karan ne bhi kaha, aapka, there was a very rapid rise in success after you started, these lockdown mashups and these more, I guess, meme-oriented music pieces. And I guess my question here was कि ये जो आपने transition किया towards more, I guess, meme-oriented music, more comedic music. What do you think prompted this transition? And also, जब ही, there was a rapid rise in subscribers and this and that. What was your reaction to the sudden success, visibility, and popularity?
Yeah, Jay, I was as shocked as anyone else when this happened, when the rapid rise happened. And so how it started, it wasn't something that I really wanted to do, like getting 100% into social media. I was always like open to social media, but I never considered that as my main stream.
Yeah.
But when this was actually the first piece that I created, and this was when Reels just came out. Of course, it was the time where, because if you see the context of the suddenness, it was when they were banning TikTok and Reels was getting up. And I was the one person who was always against TikTok. I don't know why. I was like, I don't want to make anything over there. But, and that was the time where Reels were coming up, the short video format basically was starting up.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, I'll just try out something.
Yeah.
And it was also because lockdown has just happened. Most of the people were out of jobs or out of things to do. And 2019 end and 2020 early is where Bypass Road happened. The first film where I was able to where I was able to work as a composer.
Yeah.
And I thought that, okay, it's going to open up a lot more avenues as a music composer. But unfortunately, the lockdown happened right after that. And I was again gone. I had to go back to square one to think about what I should do now. And at the same time, because everyone else was feeling this, and there was this feeling of connection between everyone, a connected, not disappointment, but how do I put it? A collective. Karan, help me with the word.
We were all in this together. That's something
we were all in this together.
And everyone I think it is the need of the hour. Like everyone.
Exactly. Everyone needed something at that
escape.
point of time. An escape. Exactly. Otherwise, it would be very depressing especially for extroverts to like go out and all. Like people, introverts like me were fine sitting at home. So
Me
it
too.
fell upon, yeah, I know. I think Karan is kind of an introvert too, right?
I think I'm somewhere of an
Yeah.
ambivert. Sometimes I
Ambivert,
like
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of felt like things are coming on my shoulders to also entertain people
Yeah.
around me. And I didn't think too much about how far away it's going to reach or anything. I just felt like entertaining at least the people who already follow me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when I actually started. It just happened within a day. Like I
Yeah.
saw this dialogue and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just do something with this? And within a day, I just made that. In fact, that was just a like an impromptu performance kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Putting a GoPro on my head and I put it out. And within like the next 2 days, I was getting WhatsApp forwards of this same video. Hey bro, why don't you make something like this? I know you do this shit. I'm like, bro,
Kamal
that's
hai.
me. That's me.
Kamal hai.
Yeah. No, because I didn't have my face, I didn't have any
Yeah.
watermarks. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so I never expected it to go viral.
Yeah. But in fact, as someone who knows you personally and knows you since more than 20 years now, I feel like we've acknowledged the fact that you've always had a musical talent. There's another talent that you've always had, which is a quirky sense of humor.
Yeah.
I think you found your niche at this point during the lockdown where you merged two of your talents. And I
Yeah,
think
I
that's where
guess.
things have clicked for you. So, but it's not just the timing that I would attribute your success to. I don't think it's just the lockdown. It's not one reel that's gone viral. It's been multiple.
Exactly.
And for aspiring content creators, Mayur, I'd like you to highlight some do's and don'ts for creating content. Obviously, no one can predict what will go viral.
Right.
There's a lot of luck involved as well. But at least it's kind of a checklist that maybe you have mentally before you create content.
Right. I was just going to say, like, no one can predict really what can go viral or not. But as you said, the checklist, how I like to imagine it, a chef, a chef will make a plate with everything, every single ingredient that you need for your dinner or lunch or whatever meal you're having. And the chef will make sure that there's every ingredient in there. Now, how well people take those ingredients, how much people like it or not, it's up to them. But it's up to the chef to make sure all the ingredients are there.
Yeah.
So that's how I consider my whenever I'm making something, I make sure that the audience gets these basic things, and then it's up to them whether how much they want to share it and how much they like it. Do they
Yeah.
like it enough that they'll share it with all their friends, and that's how things get viral, right?
Yeah,
When
that's true.
people share it with
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, I think something that I'm taking away is that try and create content that people feel like sharing. So maybe that can
Exactly,
one thing.
yeah. And I think that's where my UI design background also comes in handy, because UI is basically UX design, which
Yeah.
is user experience design.
Yeah.
So because I have this, I developed this ability while working to think in the user's perspective, to get into the user's shoes,
Yeah.
and in this case, or the audience's shoes,
Yeah.
and see if why would they want to watch this video
Yeah.
of mine? Why
That's
would they like this? Why would they want to share it with their friends?
yeah.
So I can always put out content that's showing off my talent. And
Yeah.
that's what initially I was actually doing.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking too much about what the user, I just thought of Instagram as my portfolio initially,
Yeah.
back in the day. But of course, no one's going to share that, because no one cares, like, unless they are actually giving me work.
Yeah.
They don't care about
Yeah.
what all is coming up. So I was just thinking about, last 2 years I've been only thinking about what the users would want to watch on repeat, and what they would want to share with their friends, what would make their friends happy, like something they are proud to share with them.
Yeah. I was saying this is something that as an artist, I myself also struggle with, because there are things that we want to create, but maybe the audience doesn't want. But at the end of the day, if we've made this our profession, it means we are catering to an audience, and that's how we are earning our living.
Right.
So
Right.
just doing what you want to do, or like trying to show off, it's very easy for me to put out a bandish, maybe sing it and put it out. How many of the people will actually enjoy that? You need some understanding of music to even enjoy that kind of music. So
Right.
it's about balancing both your personal wants and also what will cater to the audience.
Exactly.
Having that balanced approach. And also one thing that like stuck out to me is that Mayur, a quality I'm seeing here is we said कि you are putting yourself, it's the UX UI designer in you, but what I'm seeing is actually the quality of empathy. जब भी लोग दुखी थे, उदास थे, आपने सोचा how can I put a smile on people's face? So you're really, it's one thing to understand like mentally from the point of view of like others, but you're also connecting emotionally to them. And I think Karan also touched upon it really beautifully. आपने अपने म्यूजिक में वो एक liveliness है, एक fun element है. And in fact, one thing I've noticed musicians जो एक trap में पड़ जाते हैं, especially अगर उनकी formal training होती है, is that they forget about vibe and they forget about connecting to an audience, and instead they become very focused on like technical proficiency. Like the way I look at it is कि you start as a musician as opposed to making music to connect to others, you start making it to impress other musicians. देखो ये suspended chords मेरे, mixolydian scale, ये वो and I guess what I'm really curious about is कि ये जो fun element है, जो lively spirit है, जो soul है, आपने how did you retain that in your approach to music, and how did you, I guess, prevent formal training from killing that creative spark?
So I'll tell you this thing, and this is one of the reasons I'm still doing what I'm doing right now, is that I don't make music for myself. I make music for others. I do focus on what others will think about my music. And especially with musicians, most of the musicians don't do that. Most of the musicians are like, I just want to create what I love the most. And it's a great attitude to have. Both these attitudes have their plus points and their minus points. Even I feel like I need to put out such kind of content as well in between, just to show the real side of me. But at the same time, I like to connect with people. I like to connect with the audience that I have, and I like to receive their appreciation. Like when I see those comments like, hey, this is amazing, oh my god, you just made my day and all, it gives me a feeling of it makes me more enthusiastic to makes me want to do more of this. Whether it's helping my career or not, I don't care. It makes me want to do more of this. So and again, this is just me. So if you don't feel that from your side, then you shouldn't be like, you should think of other things. Like, just because you saw someone become viral by doing this doesn't mean that you can do the same thing. You need to put in what all things, like Karan mentioned that I mean, even I wasn't 100% sure if I have that good sense of humor, but he mentioned that I have this quirky sense of humor, because I really consider my sense of humor very bad, very lame. but
we are in the same boat as you then, Mayur.
Yeah, right. So because he said that I always had this side, or always had the music side, and I've combined those two. So this is my personality coming out. It's not like I'm trying to fake it because someone else just became viral with this. So again, everyone has something within them. If you think there's nothing there, then you need to introspect a little more, because there is definitely something that you can show the audience that you have.
And also what you mentioned, I really like that you said that, you know, creating content for the audience makes you happy. You found that happiness there. But for someone creating content that they love is where their happiness is. So they may not be able to apply your strategy. You found your happiness. People need to find where their happiness lies. So
right. I mean, you can't do two things. You can't say like, I'm not creating music for other people, I'm creating music for myself. And maybe some people who would want to listen to such kind of music, I don't care about others. Like if you say that, then you can't say that, oh, I'm not getting followers. You can't be the same person.
And why, like, people, like, the question often is, what do you want to do? But also, I think one question people should be asking themselves is, what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice that popular appeal for following a passion? Then well and good, do it.
But again, it's not about sacrifice. Like a lot of people consider social media as like, oh, मुझे यही करना पड़ेगा जो algorithm दिखा रहा है. I'll have to follow trends and all that. You don't have to do that. Like, in fact, if you do something that you are not, then definitely you're not going to grow in that field. You have to do something that you are good at. You have to be giving something to social media platforms. In order for you to get the audience. If you're doing something that many people are already doing it, then there's no point. No one will appreciate it also.
और अगर वही आपके अंदर से नहीं आ रहा है, how sustainable is it? People often think in short term कि अरे मैं viral
Yeah,
हो गया, but
exactly.
after you've seen the rigmarole, you've
Hmm.
crossed a milestone like 1 million subscribers. You know what it's like to have a piece of content go viral. After you've
Exactly,
had 10
exactly.
pieces of content going viral, then what?
Exactly.
Consistency के लिए you need to somewhere be operating
So
from that place of enjoyment or authenticity.
exactly, consistency is something that you hear so many people saying that
Yeah.
Instagram pe to you need consistency, you need to be posting every day.
Yeah.
And many people get this creative block, मैं कैसे करूँ? It's because they are not posting something that they like. That's
Yeah.
the bottom line.
Yeah.
Just if you like doing it, if you like doing something every day, only then you can be consistent.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point forcing yourself to do it.
And something that I really love about your content, Mayur, is that there was a template for meme music that had blown up through Yashraj Mukhate, but you did not try and emulate that. Your style of meme music is unique to you, and probably that's because that's something that, like you said, you like making.
Right.
You know, and I feel like if you had just copied him, you wouldn't have been where you are.
Exactly.
You have your own style, and that's your USP.
Yeah, I think everyone has their own style.
Yeah.
And it's mainly about building up on that style and making sure the audience gets your style. Like that's also a thing. Like how do you package your style in? How do you package your originality so that the audience can understand and they can connect with it?
Yeah. How do you deal with the pressures of constantly having to create, constantly having to change as per the algorithm's demands without sort of losing it? What's your method to staying consistent and keeping your sanity?
I think I'm still dealing with it. I'm still trying to understand. But it's not about understanding the algorithm. It's about understanding how do you crack your audience.
Yeah.
Like how do you make sure they are not bored? Because algorithm is ultimately audience. The one underlying aspect of the algorithm is how long can you keep your audience retained?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, Facebook, Instagram, and now YouTube Shorts, they don't care about how good or how high quality the content is. What they care about is audience retention because they don't want the audience to quit the application.
Yeah.
Like the moment the audience sees your video and quits the application, that's minus points for your video.
Yeah.
So that's very simple.
Yeah.
Like if we quit if they see the whole video from start to the end, that's a +1. If they repeat the video, that's a +2. Like that's basically how the algorithm works. It's very simple.
Yeah.
But now because of that, there is an issue because algorithm doesn't. This is what it's looking at, right? It's looking at the audience retention. It's not seeing the audience ka expression.
Yeah.
So if there's something super cringe,
That's true.
audience will not feel like changing it. They'll be like, okay, देखना पड़ेगा मुझे. I have to watch this till the end, even though the expressions are super bad. But that will be a plus point for the cringe content. Like that's how it works. Another thing, if you say like, hey, this is my I'm doing something. This is my video on YouTube. Go and watch that video. And the person quits that application and opens YouTube.
Yeah.
That also means minus points for you.
That's true.
So even though, or let's say they just like you within the first 5 seconds. They are like, मुझे follow करना है इस बंदे को. They open your profile and they follow you. That's also a minus point to you because they are going out of the Reels tab.
Yeah.
So that's something. I haven't done proper research, but that's how I am taking this whole conversation as.
But I think another demand that platforms generally have is consistency. If you aren't consistent, they also, don't push your content as much. And what I've realized is that the amount of consistency that is expected, in a way, takes over our life. I think we tend to forget living life, actually being in reality. I think every time we have a good moment or if we are happy about something, it's more about putting it out there. Because we are constantly under the pressure of being consistent.
Yeah.
So have you experienced something of that sort?
I have, and I actually don't care too much about that now. Very honestly, I'm not like it's okay if I'm being pushed a little behind, but I would still focus on creating good content. It's okay if my videos are not shown right in front, and that's actually one of the reasons. If you've seen my the difference between my YouTube and Instagram. In the last few months. If you have followed that, my Instagram is not growing as fast as my YouTube because YouTube doesn't have those rules. But at the same time, I'm not, like I said, I'm not too focused on that because I do want to live my life. There are there again. This is a part of me where there are some things I definitely want to show my audience. There are some things I don't want to. So
Yeah.
there will be some days where, at a stretch, where I'm not putting out any stories.
Yeah.
Also, I'm uh, under everything. I'm still a music producer.
Yeah.
So, and if you know about anything about music producers, they like being in the studio, plugged into their earphones, focusing on the music they are creating. So I'll have like 4 hours, 5 hours stretch of just creating music without thinking
Yeah.
about anything, without
Yeah.
checking my phone. So ultimately, I have that built into me.
Yeah.
So that's not something would want to change within
Yeah.
myself.
But as
But
an introvert yourself, like you
mm,
said that earlier, and someone who prefers being in the studio,
yeah.
what is it like to put yourself out to lakhs of people on a daily basis and be
Oh.
subject to so many opinions? Of course, you get tons of compliments, but of course, along with that come the trolls. So, firstly, do they have an impact on you? And just the fear of judgment on a daily basis, lakhs of people are seeing you every day, and you're actually someone who prefers being by yourself. So, how does that work?
So firstly about trolls, I think I'm very lucky to
Yeah.
have not received so much.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of people talk about hatred that's coming in the comment section, and I've been lucky that at least my following is amazing to me. They've
Yeah.
been really good to me.
That's true.
They've been really supportive.
Yeah.
Even if I'm creating, let's say, funny content versus when I'm creating non-funny content or something that I would want to show them, maybe covers or something.
Yeah.
Even though they don't get as many views, of course, but
Yeah.
still the comments, if you read over there, some people are very supportive to me,
Yeah.
and there won't be any hatred as such.
Yeah.
Uh, so I've been lucky. I've also focused on making sure that happens because if you remember most of my initial videos, I was showing the creative process also. I was
Yeah.
showing, like, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
was doing that before, but I was
Yeah.
showing what's happening on my screen and
Yeah.
how I'm doing things.
Yeah.
So people do appreciate that thing. They can see
Yeah.
that there's hard work being put into this content.
Yeah.
Plus, when I started off, I was that anti cringe guy. So, so like uh, people do consider uh, people do consider all of these things, and they do like who I am. So,
That's true.
like I said, I've been lucky about that. On the other hand, I mean, yeah, there have been haters, and more than haters, I would say unfollowers,
Hmm.
because that happens to everyone. People
Yeah.
keep on unfollowing, but I don't let that affect me at all.
Yeah.
I'm pretty okay with that. I mean, if they are only here for a particular type of content, then it's fine. If they don't want to see anything else, they can go. They can come back later when I keep
Yeah.
on putting this kind of content again. Like, I'm not going to change my strategy just because of that.
And in the long run, it's actually in a way better for you if they unfollow
Yeah, yeah.
because your core following is becoming stronger. They like you.
Exactly. Yeah,
Maybe they were lured in by the
yeah.
memes, but now they are
Exactly.
sticking for you. And that will
Right, right,
always
right,
be with
right.
you throughout. So I think,
Yeah, that's the main idea about building a fan following
yeah,
more than just the numbers. And
absolutely.
to clear it out, I don't hate those people who unfollow me. I in
Yeah,
fact appreciate them doing this,
yeah,
because later then they will come back when I'm continuously creating good
yeah.
content. So it's not like I have anything against them. Oh no, you should be following me. Like
That's
that's
true.
a very wrong thing to do. It's
Yeah,
fine. I unfollow people. Like
yeah,
there's no wrongdoing in that.
that's
So
true.
it's totally fine.
Yeah,
I think that's a really emotionally mature way to take it, and I absolutely agree with what Karan said. Where there's nothing bad in people unfollowing you, and like I think even the word follow is you want people with you who will follow you where you take them in terms of your journey,
Exactly.
as
yeah,
opposed to yahi
Hmm.
karte raho forever and ever
Right.
and ever.
Right.
Although
Hmm.
related to that, I have kind of a question. Your content right now is more humor oriented, more meme based. We touched upon that. Now, I personally am not one who separates, hey, this is meme music, this is serious music. I think music
Hmm.
is music. I think
Hmm.
Weird Al Yankovic is a good musician, regardless of whether you think it's
Hmm.
parody, not parody. But what I'm wondering is, do you think this approach of being more humor centric, more meme centric, do you think it like limits you in terms of creative satisfaction or in terms of artistic expression in a way?
Uh, Creative satisfaction, not at all.
Hmm.
I'm very happy with doing this. Like I said, I am putting out part of my personality. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be someone else or faking it.
yeah,
So satisfaction wise, there's no issue at all. But yeah, as artistic expression, I do feel that there is a side of me that I want to show people, and it's not coming out properly from what I'm doing right now. And that's something I will be focusing on in this coming year, where I am going to create many original songs, and I'm still figuring out the whole process and how to release them. And I'm still figuring out my own sound as well. Like
Yeah.
it's not just that the audience is not going to understand me. I can always blame it on the audience ki they only want this thing. That's why I'm not creating. But at the same time, I'm not 100% satisfied with my own sound. Also, I feel like
Yeah.
this social media boom that I've got is uh, is putting high expectations from me when I start creating original music.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
So
that's
that
true.
is affecting me, and that is getting onto me,
yeah,
where I am getting very picky with what I'm creating
Yeah.
and what is the sound that I want to make. Because I know that right now it's open for me, but once I catch my sound for that original, every person when they create original music, especially in the indie scene,
yeah,
Bollywood is different because everyone creates everything over there.
yeah,
But in the indie scene, everyone has their own unique sound.
Hmm.
yeah,
And for me, it's open right now because, again, in the meme space, I'm creating whatever I want.
yeah,
That's
It's not,
true.
I won't count all of that as my own sound. In fact,
yeah,
I'm impersonating so many people while
Yeah.
creating all these things. So my sound has not come out yet.
yeah,
Hmm.
My uniqueness has not come out yet.
Yeah.
So that's something that I will be focusing on this year. And
Yeah.
hopefully, within the next few months, I should be able to figure that out. And
Yeah.
uh, I should be able to get people's appreciation in that
yeah.
on that side as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
As an artist, I think this is really important because whatever you put out, especially your originals, you have to love it before anyone else does. And I think
Yeah.
that's important for you. But, and, when I think of putting out original myself, I have similar concerns. But when we hold our standards in a way where, we want it to be really good, at least from our end, uh,
Hmm.
the industry, especially the indie scene right now, we are in a way also competing with Bollywood music. And right now, the so-called hits that we have are actually not hits. They are songs that have great marketing push. And there are artificial ways of making a song a trending song through reels
Hmm,
and
hmm, hmm.
through influencer marketing. So does that in any way demotivate you regarding the independent music scene?
Um, Not really. So,
Hmm.
do you know the concept of AND gates and OR gates?
No.
It's okay. I'm just putting out
Yeah.
engineering terms. So, in like electronic engineering, when there's an AND gate, all the gates should be closed so that
Yeah.
the electricity flows. And in an
Hmm.
OR gate, it's like wires are in parallel. So even if one gate is closed, the
There's a
electricity
flow.
will flow.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Ha. So why I bring this up is because uh, yes, marketing push always happens. Like we
Yeah.
know that everyone from the industry knows that
Yeah.
if there's a marketing push, it will be pushed out. Like you're
Yeah.
forcing songs into your audience, and
Yeah.
it's getting
Yeah.
famous. But at the same time, that's just one of the AND gates.
That's
Yeah.
true.
It's not an or situation. Like
Yeah.
marketing हुआ अच्छा या
Hmm.
फिर music अच्छा है तो song चलेगा.
Mm.
You have to have good marketing, but at
Mm.
the same time, your song should be good enough.
That's true.
Your
Yeah.
song should have that catchiness. It should have something in it
Yeah.
that can blow up. And that's just two of them. There are other things also. Like in terms of the song, it's not
Yeah.
just the catchiness. There are other things, the voice and everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like the perfect example would be Jugnu.
Yeah.
Initially, of course, it was given so much marketing, but like
Yeah.
everyone knows that Jugnu was pushed into our faces
Yeah. Yeah.
initially when
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
came out. But how many months? It's been about 7, 8 months, right?
Yeah.
6 months at least since
Yeah.
Jugnu released, and even now when it comes on the dance floor and all, we get excited because that song is so catchy and that
Yeah.
song has that feeling. It creates that feeling inside you.
That's
And so many other songs have been given the same marketing push, but they
true.
haven't made it.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
maybe for 1 month or something, it will be trending, but then it will go away as quickly as
Yeah.
it came in.
That's true. Eventually, I think good music has to survive.
Eventually,
Yeah.
good music survives, and
That's
that's
true.
actually one of the reasons I've been thinking about this. And tell me, you guys, if you think this is correct.
Yeah.
We always consider like these old songs are the best. 80s ke songs, 90s ke songs, even the 60s songs, Kishore Kumar and all. It's so amazing, and now look at what has happened.
Hmm.
But do you think it's actually true or it's just a perception?
It's very interesting that you brought this up. I was listening to an interview of Rafi Saab, and a very old interview, and the interviewer was asking him कि रफी साहब बताइए कि आज के गाने इतने बुरे क्यों हैं, पहले के गाने इतने बेहतर है, and he was defending, and I was like, in our times we consider Rafi Saab as, you know, one of the best musicians, and that music being one of the best. So I think every generation goes through this. In terms of lyrics, I feel like we are deteriorating. But otherwise, I feel like there are a lot of talented musicians that can make great music in today's time, but they aren't being given the opportunity because of the corporatization of the music industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll give you my perspective on this.
Yeah.
I actually feel the music hasn't deteriorated. Maybe lyrics have, but
Lyrics,
in
yeah.
the overall music scene has not. Because
Yeah.
when we think about 60s music, there are maybe 10 songs that we remember from
That's
that whole decade.
That's true.
70s में 10 songs. So I remember 90s में people were talking about this. At least our elders were talking about कि 60s में कितना अच्छा था यार, अभी 90s में क्या गाने निकल रहे हैं. And today we are sitting over here saying that 90s में क्या गाने थे यार, आजकल क्या नहीं चल रहे. Because we remember those 10-15 songs that were really good in the 90s.
Yeah.
And same way, 20 years later, we will remember the 10 really good songs from this decade.
Yeah.
And that's how we'll feel like this decade was not so bad.
Yeah.
Because we'll eliminate those songs that we didn't like. That's what I feel like.
Yeah,
And that's so true. That's so true. In fact, मुझे याद है मैंने बहुत पहले एक आर्टिकल पढ़ा था. This is more in the Western music world, but they were talking about कि Beatles so great, this, that. But when Beatles were like releasing some of their more popular albums and more experimental albums, top जो chart पे तभी था was not Beatles, भाई. It was some band called the Archies or something like that.
Yeah.
So like the great music of that time, which we think उस time में कितना अच्छा था, that is not necessarily what was popping or what was popular then. So you're so right. We remember, we pick and choose, and we cherry pick the music from different decades. Yeah. Although all this talk of Bollywood में, I think another way I think it links very interestingly with your journey, Mayur, is कि conventionally ये thinking रही है कि to make it really as a music composer, as a music producer in our country, you have to make it in Bollywood. And I think your career is perfect testament to the fact that there is a more or equally lucrative approach, emerging parallel approach that gives you even more freedom, like you said. मैं अपना music बना रहा, I have much more freedom, and that's breaking out on social media. So, in using your unique, I guess, perspective in this whole situation, can you give us a highlight into how things have changed from pehle bas Bollywood to now? You don't just need to do that, and aspirants don't just need to focus on the Bollywood lane.
Right. Yeah. So I think we are in the golden age of making it. I don't know if that makes sense, but we are in the golden age because any talent that you have, you can show it to the audience directly.
Exactly.
Back in the day, you needed to go through channels. You need to go through labels. You need to go through something.
Some middleman.
To get yourself out to the audience. But now you have a direct link to your audience. But at the same time now, because everyone has that link to the audience, there's competition. So at that, and it's not just competition talent-wise, because talent is just one part of it.
Yeah.
If you're talented enough, then definitely you can show your talent to one person and kind of that person will realize, oh my God, he's amazing. But if you put a reel out, maybe it won't grasp the audience as much as someone not as talented as you who knows how to lure in the audience.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's a different skill set that people need to develop now, especially in the social media age, which was not needed back then, because back then you had these other channels who do that for you. Back then you need to have the talent, and then you needed to have the right network and right contacts and all. So basically it's all about developing these skills that are outside of your talent and your zone. So one is networking, one is understanding the audience, and as time changes, you need different skills now comparatively. Now the skill set needed is how to get your best work out within 30 seconds. That was something that no one assumed would happen 10 years back. Just like not even 10 years, 5 years back, you would have never thought I needed to make 30-second songs or 1-minute songs. So as times are changing, you need to it's about evolving with the time.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that you have, like I said, you need all the ingredients. Talent
Yeah.
is just one of the ingredients.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think being able to market your content on social media is a different skill set, like you said, and
Exactly.
one
Yeah.
has to develop that as well. Another skill set or another aspect of working as a social media content creator is working with brands. And you've had some amazing brands to work with. While I really appreciate that they support artists like us, there is also another side to working with brands, especially as someone who's a creative person. I think creativity and deadlines don't go together. Sometimes they want a brief,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they give you 3 days, but that's not how things work. So, what has working with brands been like for you? Can you give us like a realistic perspective?
So yeah, I mean, again, Touchwood, I've been a little lucky in that sense because I have been working with brands before the social media thing as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been working with brands, with other like people who used to hire me for some music. And
Yeah.
right now, also, I consider it in the same zone. I
Right.
don't consider myself as a channel where brands can just give something. If I considered that, then I would just put up a story, hey, go check out this brand and get done with it. But
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
In fact, brands are okay with me doing that, but I don't do that. I would
Yeah.
want to create some music for them,
Yeah.
which I can sell them and which I can show my audience that, hey, look, I'm actually working with this brand rather than just saying, ki, oh, this is my favorite brand, go and do something. So that in that sense, brands have also been very happy for me. Like there are so many brands who come back, and I think that's not
Yeah.
something you see a lot in the
Yeah.
industry.
That's true.
So for me, like I said, it's blissful because I've been blessed because I've had this thing in my background already.
Yeah.
So working with brands and dealing with clients and all,
Yeah.
it's something I can do very well. But
Yeah.
again, you do find some brands which are a little, I just want this, I want that. Initially, I found such brands a lot.
Yeah.
Now not so much because now I think because people see what I'm doing with brands also,
Yeah.
so they have they have a little more confidence in me.
Yeah.
But initially that used to happen, and it was just about making them believe in
Yeah.
what you were doing.
Yeah.
And about timelines, like you said, like I can be one of the supportive guy who's like, oh, timelines तो ऊपर नीचे होते रहता है creative space में, but ultimately it's along with creativity we are running a business.
Yeah.
This is a business, and having realistic deadlines is one part of running a business. So I've started doing this where I take up a little more time initially
Yeah.
only, so
Yeah.
that brands don't get frustrated with me because of that.
Actually, if we see it from the other end and from their perspective, they are also not wrong in asking for a certain deadline.
Exactly.
For example, if I was doing a campaign and the sale is going live on a certain day, the promotion has to happen on the same day for the
Exactly.
campaign to work.
And for brands, it's a very big deal. For
Yeah.
us, it's just one post.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, like Jay mentioned, I think I was talking about being into the shoes of like getting into the shoes of your audience and other people.
Yeah.
But Jay mentioned that word empathy, and I
Yeah.
just realized that's a much better word
Yeah.
that applies to the audience and applies to the brands as well.
That's
You should think in terms of the brands,
Yeah.
what the brands also want, and not just what you would want to put out. Like
Yeah.
you can put out the most amazing content, but if the brand name is not there, then the brand won't be happy with you.
Exactly.
And at the same time, you can do something that the brand completely wants, but if you know for a fact that this thing is not going to work, you need to explain to the brand that, look, this thing is not going to get views only. Even though
Yeah.
your name is everywhere, if it's not going to get views, there's no point of doing this.
Yeah.
So you need to explain that to the brand
Yeah.
that it's good for you only.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes I also get briefs, and I've got briefs with absolute dialogues. And ये करने के लिए आप ये कीजिए, ये
Exactly.
And the thing is, if I don't talk like that to my audience, they know this is not the real Karan. So
Exactly.
obviously that reel is going to fail, and they will also not get the results. So it's so important to form a collaborative approach and form
Exactly,
a symbiotic relationship, and only then will it sustain for a long time.
Right. The main thing is to find a middle ground and also to explain to them why you're right, why you think this will not work and your way will work.
That's true. Yeah. But I think like you are in a position where you have a good amount of following. For aspiring creators that are maybe watching this, they may not be able to be in a position where they can negotiate and convince a brand and be able to make their own brief, but maybe just push through and you'll reach a point where you can have this collaborative approach.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Initially,
it's also, it's a big this thing. Like right now, if you want brands, there are so many good startups coming up, even for the smaller creators, micro influencers. Like I'm sure Karan knows all about these new brands that have these new startups that have come up, and like you can get brand deals from anywhere. Like you just need to do a little bit of research, find out these good managements that can get you if you yourself can't do it, and it's more about what you want, because as a micro influencer, I'm sure brand deals shouldn't be your first priority. When you're just starting up, even right now, I'm kind of oscillating between the two. Like, should I just do as many brand deals as possible, or should I focus more? And the right answer is I should definitely focus more, because there's so much more I need to achieve.
That's true.
And if I put all my, and it's not about following decreasing because of brands, like that doesn't happen as much, but it's more about how much of your energy you're focusing on that.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's like playing a smaller game when you can have a bigger vision.
Yes, exactly.
That's true.
So it's, in terms of the bigger vision, you should always see what brands work with you, rather than just seeing what brands are coming to you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great advice. Mayur, we've also seen that the meme music space is relatively new. It's probably blown up in the lockdown. And there are probably 2 or 3 creators, including you, that have made a name there. I think we've seen you collaborate with Yashraj Mukhate. We've seen you collaborate with Anshuman. And it's so nice in a way to see competitors work together. How has the experience of working together been like?
It's been great. I mean, music as such is a collaborative space.
Yeah.
Everything, like the more you collaborate, the better music you're going to create. That's the rule. Like even if you feel like, oh, I can do this myself, it's always better to have a different set of ears to your song and a different set of brains working on your song. So it always works better. So that's one thing that I've noticed in other musicians as well. They've been very open to collaborating. Whether they are at a bigger level or a smaller level, doesn't matter. If you're a good musician, you would want to collaborate with another good musician.
That's true.
So that always happens. Plus, like you gave Yashraj's example, and it's like he's also such an amazing guy to work with, such a down-to-earth, humble guy, and it's like I just talk to him very frequently. It's not just about collaboration; it's just how we connect in a level, and it's been great just like knowing these people and understanding how they also function. Also, it's because it's like you mentioned, because there are so few of us in this space right now, it's even more important to collaborate. Because like when there's so much competition, then it does become like, oh, I need to be better than that person. But when it's a small space, especially when it's a niche space, like right now, okay, after that whole that Rasoda thing blew up, I think it opened up this space completely. Before that, even I wasn't sure if I should be doing this 100% or not, and that's actually another reason. So when that thing happened, like the first thing is people would be like, यार तेरे तो videos कभी तेरे भी similar ही videos है, कोई viral ऐसे viral तो नहीं हुआ जैसे ये हुआ यार, ये तो नाइंसाफी and all. And I was very happy deep inside. Like of course ये रहता है कि my video should have also gone to that level, but deep inside I was very happy, because that was a confirmation that what I'm doing can actually reach. It's not just for a niche audience; it's for the broader audience. Like I can make a living out of just doing this. Like even if I leave all my other music projects aside, like just doing this is still going to get me somewhere. So that was more like a confirmation for me. And like I said, because it's such a small thing and it's a new stream, I would say, because it's so new, it becomes important for you to collaborate and find a larger audience rather than just competing and getting each other's audience, trying to get each other's audience. You should find a bigger audience for yourself.
I think we've had a lot of serious conversations. Let's move on to a slightly more fun segment that we have planned for you. You, like we said, you've had a lot of viral reels, but not just viral reels. Jay and I have together selected 4 reels of yours that we really love.
Okay.
And we'd like to know some BTS from
Okay.
those reels and the story behind some of your most amazing content according to us. So I think we'll show you a few videos and you can tell us the BTS.
Teacher Swami Vivekanand. 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 I'm the least racist person. I'm the least racist person. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Yeah.
Any memory with this?
Oh yeah, this is so going down the whole memory lane. This was one of my first, not one of my first, like there have been a few semi-viral hits, but
Yeah.
this was the first one that actually blew up a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
And this was the first time many other celebrities were not just sharing it, they were reposting this. And I'm like, why are they reposting this? like,
Yeah.
like there are some celebrities who have all photos of themselves and then one Vivekanand repost. And I'm like, that's so weird, but
Yeah.
that's so cool that they like it so much that they're actually doing that. And so about how I went about creating this was one of those where I really did not have time also to think. I didn't think too much.
Yeah.
And this was one of those videos that I finished within a day.
Yeah.
So I started, I think it was because that the election day was coming up.
Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah.
right before the election
Right
day.
before, yeah.
Yeah, so I was thinking like maybe I should do something about Donald Trump, whether
Yeah.
he wins or not. It will be the topic that's going on, so people might like it. And I came to know just one day before that the elections are happening. So I just tried to search something, and Vivekanand thing was something that was that
Yeah.
I had known about when that happened. So I immediately downloaded that, and
Yeah.
it was just one of those immediate creative process. I didn't think too much in terms of the music. I
Yeah.
just started with the dialogues, and whatever went with the dialogues, I just made the music according to that. So if you see, this one is more dialogue heavy than the music. The music is
Then, yeah.
just going on, and
Yeah.
that I think helps with the catchiness of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think in fact, this was one of those that I started in the evening, but then I didn't do anything. I just downloaded some stuff in the evening. It was 10 o'clock at night when I actually started working on the
Wow.
music part of things.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I spent the whole night. So
Yeah.
from 10 to I think 2:33, I finished the song.
Yeah.
And 3 o'clock, I just removed my camera, my GoPro and all, and I recorded the video and edited the video by 5:30 in the morning.
Oh.
And then I set an alarm for 10:30 or something, and I uploaded that song.
This is the kind of dedication that actually pays off, you know. I think we'll move on to the second clip
Next one?
that we have for you.
Okay.
मुझे ड्रग्स दो मुझे ड्रग्स दो मुझे ड्रग्स दो मुझे ड्रग्स दो ड्रग्स दो ड्रग्स दो ड्रग्स दो मुझे ड्रग्स दो गांजा लाओ चरस लाओ एमडीएम लाओ मुझे ड्रग्स दो.
Yeah.
How do you think of relating that dialogue to this song?
I think that was an initial sudden thing where as soon as he said "Mujhe drugs do, mujhe rang de,"
Mujhe rang
kind
de,
of it's kind of going well together. Like
Yeah.
that immediately popped up in my head. I don't
Yeah.
know why it popped up in my head. Maybe it's that quirky sense of humor that you're talking about. But
Really funny.
yeah, I mean that immediately happened, and I think something that others have also done. I posted this, and then Anshuman and there was this Blaze Music, who's an amazing producer himself. They all did Mujhe Drugs Do remix, and like overall Mujhe Drugs Do remix was the whole trending topic of that month.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this was, and I'm so glad we are doing this recap thing, and I'm seeing these videos again because like I saw the first at least I think 20 seconds or 30 seconds of that video was just me showing my creative
Behind
process,
the
which I
scenes,
actually
yeah.
don't do anymore, and I'm thinking I should be doing that, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
Absolutely. That's very interesting.
That's something that that's something that people will want to see.
Yeah.
How am I actually doing
Making
that?
of it, yeah.
The making, yeah. So yeah, thanks for doing this. It's actually helping me also focus, like thinking about my next content pieces. But
That's
yeah,
so
this one
cool.
was more This one was again like I said, started with the dialogue. I placed the dialogue, and then I started making. And the music in this case was easy because I had to replicate
Yeah,
what the
you had
actual
that.
song was. But I actually went a step ahead. Like
Hmm.
initially I replicated the song, but then I always like putting my own touch to
Yeah,
something. So if you hear the beat, it's a little different from the original one.
The original, yeah.
that's true. Yeah. But it was really, really funny. Like while I've seen it so many times before, but I was watching it right now also and I was laughing.
Yeah.
So it's still really funny. The next two that we have are my personal favorites, and I think the one that we'll show you right now is probably your biggest hit, if I'm not wrong. I think
Okay.
let's see that first. Firstly, this kid is so cute, and
Exactly.
tell us how you picked up this video. And I think this clip went viral because of maybe this track that you made.
I'm
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I had seen this clip. So
Yeah.
this one, was it a quick thing where I just see it
Mhm.
and then I just
Yeah.
do something? This
Yeah.
one I had seen this clip long back. In fact, I even downloaded it just to
Mm.
keep it in the background. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't sure what to do with this.
Yeah.
And I actually remember having this conversation with a friend of mine. She's a brilliant singer. And we were talking about what content should I create. Like I was actually having a creative block. I was thinking about what should I put out next, or should I just like focus on other stuff rather than doing all this? And uh, we were discussing my content in general about what videos are actually working or not. And she told me one thing that uh, it was a harsh reality that whatever I make in terms of the dialogue. I just think
Hmm.
of what the dialogue would be, and I try to make things funny. I
Yeah.
try to be funny
Yeah.
rather than just having that uh, rather than just the situation, the song being funny in itself. I try
Hmm.
to make I try to put a lot of things where people like I said, right, I want to put those ingredients, and sometimes what happens is that you overdo it. You just put ingredients here and there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just want the audience to go into that journey. Ye ho raha, ye ho raha, ye ho raha, and then this is happening.
Mm.
And sometimes it's better to just take a back seat
Yeah.
and just do good music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this case, I had this dialogue since a long time, and I was trying out something here and there, but nothing was working.
Yeah.
And then I just took one part of it, like the array yaar mat karo, that part,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and I was just playing it on the piano. I think I played it for half an hour before I came up with that particular
Hmm.
melody. And I think that is what has worked with this song.
Yeah.
It's not that it's funny or it's anything. It's just that how catchy the melody is.
Exactly. The musicality of the hook is what gets it.
Right,
And
right.
because the melody is so good, I think that's the reason why the audio has been used so many times by other creators.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I think we'll move to the last one that we
Okay.
have for you.
Okay.
Another favorite of mine. Let's see it.
Yes.
The first thing that popped up in my head was that I hope to get Kajol on my podcast one day. And the first reaction I want is of her doing this.
Yeah.
I think if that will be epic. But tell
Even
us
I'd
about-
love to see a reaction
Yeah.
on this video.
But tell us how you came up with this one.
So this one was more again, it wasn't anything that's been trending or anything, just like the Anushrut one.
Yeah.
It was something I had seen. Like, of course, everyone has seen this dialogue, and I wanted to make instruments actually. I wanted to make funny instruments.
Yeah.
Like if you remember, I also have this chicken over here that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
converted that into an instrument, and I
Yeah.
wanted to do something more like that because I like Ableton, the software that I use, they had just updated, and there was a really good sampler in it. So this
Mm.
was more of me geeking out with my software
Yeah.
and trying out something. So
Yeah.
I just took Kajol's voice, and I'm like, this is so good when I started playing that on the
Yeah.
keyboard. And I just thought of it as like an instrument that the first thing I did was save that instrument in my list of
Oh.
created instruments, because I didn't think of making a video out of it, but I was like, I'm going to use this
Yeah.
places. And
Alright.
I have used this voice in a lot of
Oh,
other
you have.
places.
Crazy.
Oh,
I
like
have.
a musical
I
Easter
can
egg.
I can even tell you some projects that I have used this
Yeah.
this
Sound.
sound in, but I don't want to say because I don't want any copyright issues over
Yeah. No, but that's so
here.
fascinating. And to be able to find music in that kind of a sound is also a talent. So, Mayur, we actually have a bonus one for you. These were 4 of your most amazing reels, but you've also we know that you're coming up with original songs, but you've already released one which I really love. It's of course Repeat Repeat. I'm sure your audience knows about it too. And it's acted like a great mirror for the kind of music that Bollywood has been putting out lately. So can you tell us a bit about that one?
So, first of all, Repeat Repeat was an idea that I had for a long time. I never got the courage to actually do it because that's not really my personality. If you see the music video,
Yeah.
that's not me, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't wear all these
Yeah.
clothes and do all those
Absolutely.
dance steps
Yeah.
and everything. So it was a very fun project for me, and it was a very unique project for me also because I
Yeah.
got to see so many different things. It wasn't something that I'm sitting in my studio picking things up from here and there and doing.
Yeah.
It was just, first of all, it was a song from scratch which I was singing, and I've never considered myself a singer.
Mm.
So for doing that, it was a big deal for me also. Uh, and I mean, people do consider it like a diss track where I'm like dissing onto
Mm.
these Bollywood artists. It's not really a diss track, but it came at a point where, you know, when I'm sure we both have been in this situation where we are like, ये क्या बज रहा है यार, इससे अच्छा तो मैं बना लूंगा.
Yeah.
So many people say that कि इससे अच्छा तो मैं बना लूंगा यार, मैं भी बना लूंगा,
Yeah.
हम भी बना लेंगे, like that. But everyone says that, but not many people know that there is a lot of effort and a lot of thinking put into these kind of songs as well.
Yeah.
So this was me saying कि ये तो मैं भी बना लूंगा, but then I'm actually creating it. So I'm actually doing it rather than just saying कि ये बना लूंगा मैं.
True.
So I actually wanted to show that it's not a big deal to create such a song.
Yeah.
Like it's a pretty easy thing to do. In fact, the song was created within a couple of days. The complete song, including the
Wow.
voice recording and everything. But I took a lot of time to think about the music video and to actually
Yeah.
execute the music video, because if you see,
Yeah.
it's
It's
true.
very
actually
high production.
gone
quality.
overboard.
Yeah.
I've gone overboard with the music video, especially considering it's just a social media post.
Yeah.
It's just a vertical 1 minute reel or YouTube short.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of mehnat in that terms, and listen to the audience react to it, because it's not a dialogue beat that someone would readily share, right? It's
Yeah.
just my face being shown all the time
Yeah.
and all, and I didn't know if people would react properly to it. People would react well,
Yeah.
but just listening, looking at how they reacted,
Yes.
and they got the idea what I was trying to put
Yeah.
out, and they were so supportive about this, and everyone loved it. I think
Yeah.
whoever I've shown it to, everyone is just amazed by this thing. So
And
yeah,
when you
this was
when you get appreciation for something that is not what you do conventionally, I think that holds a very special place.
exactly, yeah. And it wasn't because this was completely unique. It wasn't something that dialogue beat chal raha hai to dialogue beat bana rahe hai. It was something very different. There was no hook over there for the audience to think. Matlab, normally when they see some post, if they have something already there, maybe a nostalgic element or something that's trending, and then there's something unique happening with that trend.
Yeah.
So that's when they really connect with that content piece. But this was completely unique. There was nothing to connect them with.
Absolutely.
So for them to actually connect with this unique piece, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And this was actually my way of this is how I'm starting to move out of the dialogue beat space and go into original song. Like this was my like a segue that I'm trying to create now.
Yeah,
to
no,
get
I
into
think
original.
you've given your audience and both of us a teaser of what your originals can be. The first one has been so brilliant, and we are all looking forward to what you will come up with in the
Yeah.
future.
Again, this is not my sound. Like I was telling you about, I'm still working on my sound. What actually my originals would be.
Absolutely.
This
Yeah.
is kind of a funny original. You can
Yeah. Yeah.
count it in that zone. But
But
yeah,
for
I
the
mean,
audience also, I think most of your core fans would know, but I would recommend that they go and check out the song Guide from your film Bypass Road.
Bypass
I
Road.
think
right.
that is another brilliant song that you've composed and maybe would give them a glimpse of your musicality as well. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, Mayur. We've had such a great time chatting with you. Thank you for being so generous with your time and being on our show. Would you have any parting words?
Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. It's just brilliant to be able to speak your mind and not think too much. So I had a great time with you guys. Thank you both for doing this.
To our viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Drop in the comment section below which were some key insights for you from this interview. Share this with your friends and family. We'll see you very soon in another episode. See you all next time. Bye.
Bye.